Back again. Did you miss us? This is the segment of the fitness recap called Match Analysis. It's been a great one. Season 2 is here, and episode 1 had a different type of aura, from talent to pure entertainment. But what? You don't have to take my word for it. My guest that will be with me will give you the download of how the semi-final and the final went here at the Johnny Mini Season 2 episode 1. Just stay tuned. We have a lot to uncap here, a lot to talk about here on the Match Analysis. Just stay tuned. And remember, life is a game. Just press play. Yes, welcome back. I told you I had a guest with me, and today it's the man, the one, the only, Boyd himself. They call him Sensei, but he's here to unpack. Welcome to the studio, Boyd. How's it been for you?
It's been really good. Coming back from the season 2 episode 1 tournament, it was really amazing. We had a lot of talents there, and you would get to know.
Yes. That's really great. Before we dive into the game itself, let's speak about the tournament itself. I feel this is one of the episodes that we had a lot of the big names together, especially it being episode 1. We had Farouk Manzo here, yourself, Baji Jr., Mitch, our ultimate champion also. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to defend you on the first trial, but there are other episodes to come. But at the tournament as a whole, what did you make of it?
Yeah, like you mentioned, we had a lot of big names here, and that's because they saw what it entails to get to the Night of Champions. So nobody wants to miss just one episode. Everyone wants to keep on pushing. Because I wouldn't want to miss this episode and say, oh, I can get it next time. They might not be next. They might be
tougher.
Exactly. So you just want to hit it going. Yeah.
That's great. And speaking about talents, the first semi-final will be diving into the one between Farouk Manzo and Wizmani himself. Wizmani is someone I heard he was in the scene before, but he just came back. I spoke to him during the top 8 segments, and he said it was because of school, but now he's back in the gaming scene. But what will you see are the differences in style of play between Wizmani and Farouk?
The differences will just be discipline. Because like he said, he's been in school.
Yeah.
Farouk is someone who has been playing the game daily against someone that's just coming back. He will be a little bit rusty. So
just even being rusty also, as you said before, it will also impact how you play also.
Yeah.
But in this game, as I said at the beginning in the intro, we had a different aura in this tournament, and that aura I was speaking about was the dominance of Farouk Manzo. And in this game, let's quickly dive into it. There are some points that we could take from this game itself, and it was a game of goals. We did not expect for it to be that dominant from Farouk Manzo. And right from the off, something pros complain about, but in the end they come here to come and use it. They talk about the kickoff glitch. Please just dive into that a little bit. How is the kickoff glitch, and how can it be used effectively?
Well, people just think of it, oh, it's kickoff glitch. You pass to your left back or your right back, then you trigger the run and you just switch it. Exactly. But it can be used in different scenarios, and that's what Farouk did in the first 4 minutes of the match. He didn't even use kickoff glitch. It was from goal kick. He triggered Kunde. But to be honest, I feel Wizmani should have tracked the run, but he just thought in his mind it's kickoff glitch. You understand? This is not kickoff, this is goal kick. But Farouk showed him another variation for him.
That's good. You said he should have switched to the fullback at that point. Then coming, and it eventually led to a goal 4 minutes in. But starting the game itself, both of them used different formations. Farouk going with the 4-4-1-1 and versus Wizmani's 4-2-3-1 wide. What would you say those formations, how did they counter each other?
Yeah, so like I use the 4-3-1 wide. That's just because I'm more of an attacking player, and I know my defense is not so good. So you would want to have your 2 DMs. I can attack with my 4 forwards. So I'm very sure that's what Wizmani came to do. He knows Farouk is an attacking player. He can manage to attack with his 4 players while he defends with his sitting DMs. But at Farouk is like a conductor. ahead. He just
so in the end, he made Wizimani to dance to his own music.
Exactly.
Let's move to the second goal at the 11th minute. You noticed some bad defending from Wizimani there in terms of switching his spot. Yes, I think there's one thing I could take from Mitch while speaking with him during the topic section. He said he has learned to master the right stick switching, and I think that's one thing you also know. So how can you speak, and how can players improve on that?
Okay, so like you said, you spoke to Mitch. Mitch is a very disciplined defender. He knows what to do at the right time, because that goal, at first he switched to Kamavinga and he moved Kamavinga away from the passing lane, but he still had two other options,
Saliba and Tiana.
Exactly, to track that run. But he didn't. He still thought, he can still get the ball off our ball. At that point, it was open, so you have to track the player there. So that was where he
at the Achilles at that point, and eventually you going 2 goals down, you're still in the game. We're speaking about Wizmani's defending just now, but we could see his point in the game where he actually defended some of Farouk's attacks. Where even though in the end there are times when your opponent eventually overpowers you, but in the 21st minute we saw how he cut off the passing lanes against Farouk. But at that point, I felt when he cleared that ball, Farouk had already recovered back to get that ball back. And the next thing, again, another onslaught again. So there was no breathing space. There was no breathing space at all for Wizmani. We really speak about the double triangle in the game and how effective it can be. You knowing when to do that. And in the 23rd minute, we saw another goal. What are the little moments where you know that the double triangle can be effective, or is it just something that people spam from time to time?
Well, in previous years, I honestly just believed that people just spam it. But now in 26, you have to do it, especially when you're in the box. You just have to do it. When you feel, this defender might intercept it if I do the normal triangle. Just lifting it up would give you that little bit of space to make the pass go through, and that's what Farouk used there. I'm very sure if he had done the normal triangle, he wouldn't have scored that goal. Yes,
because at that moment there was little space. He just went over the player.
Exactly.
Moving on, we spoke about Wizmani himself. In this game, even though you could say Farouk overpowered him, he was able to get back a goal in the game, and it was 3-1. In the 50th minute, using what Farouk had used previously, the double triangle also. But at 3-1, you feel maybe there's a comeback.
Exactly.
But then we moved back to the kickoff glitch again. Farouk Manzo using that again to get another goal. At that moment, after you scored 3-1, when you're thinking of maybe is there a comeback possible, how are you able to defend those kickoff glitch to make sure you don't concede immediately after scoring a goal?
Okay, so you've scored 3-1. You're a little bit excited. You want to get the second, and hopefully you can get the third. But that's when emotions set in. Like I said, there are different variations of the kickoff glitch. Farouk, the first goal, Farouk used another variation. But this fourth goal, Farouk used the main variation. And I think if Wizy would have paused the game a little bit, he would have tracked the run. But he didn't, because he was in a rush to go for the second goal and probably the third.
He was trying to go band for band with Farouk. He got punished in the air. One thing we speak about is the use of player locks. I think while you were doing the commentary with me, I asked you which one is better, player locks or triggering runs, or even the directional runs itself, because we know the AI defending has been nerfed to an extent in the game right now. But how do they compare?
Okay, so you use player locks, directed runs, and triggered in different scenarios. But when you are at that high level, like the likes of Farouk, Michel, Fola, you can use player locks to do all three. And that what you will see in the 5th and 6th goal. The 5th goal, it's just one easy pass into the box, just very easy pass. But I feel that
Rashford and that person making in his space.
But if he didn't play along there, he wouldn't have put Rashford in that particular space to receive the ball and score. Now, the 6th goal.
There's no. I really want to speak about that 6th goal, because even I myself, people say when people are playing, people outside, they say, "Oh, I'm correcting you."
Yeah.
They say, "What this?" Even I myself that was outside, I did not see that pass because Rafinha was at the other side and he switched and the player locked and he started making that run, and oh my God. When we speak about in football, when we say the Mesut Ozils, the Kevin De Bruyne, those are the kind of passes they deliver. How when you saw that goal, you as an elite yourself, how did you feel?
Because I've played with Farouk a lot of times, and it gave me a glimpse of what he has done to me. So PTSD at that moment. Because if you're playing against that for the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th time, you'll be caught off guard. You understand? I didn't even see it. And that's what I said. Farouk is a conductor. Yeah, he is the one that is orchestrating his attack. He could have passed to Yamal, but he saw Rafinha. He played up to Rafinha immediately, and he made the run before Griezmann could even switch, could even understand what was going on.
What was going on?
He already scored.
It was over, yeah. And that was great. That goal, he just capped up how Farouk had been playing throughout the whole tournament. One thing we also were speaking about tracking runs, or the runs that Farouk used with the player lock.
Yeah.
But I think one thing we could notice from Griezmann in this tournament also, in this match in particular, was he needs to learn how to track runs.
Yeah.
Well, how does one improve on that skill, or is it just by grinding?
So there are different aspects, or there are different areas in defending, but they're mainly two. You have to if you're tracking runs, you have to make the field bigger. Because you can't just be looking, maybe I'm with the ball in the midfield. This game is more about transition. F-strength 6, it's about transitions. So I'm with the ball in the midfield. You have to look around. Is anyone making a run? If no one is, then you can press me. But all this you have to be doing in
seconds.
Yeah, exactly, in seconds, because your opponent is not going to give you that chance to think. And that's why these players playing at high level, if you know what they are thinking every second, you wouldn't want to analyze that.
Well, that's the result of grinding the game over 6+ hours. So once you get that, at least right with this tournament now, Griezmann has been able to see the level of talent on show.
Yeah, exactly.
He will obviously be back for another episode, and hopefully he's able to show his talent and maybe book a slot at the Night of Champions. Yes, that was the first semi-final between Farouk Manzo and Griezmann. Yeah, at the Johnny Mini Season 2 episode 1. We will bring you back with the second semi-final before we bring you the grand final as it went down here at the Nest. Stay tuned, and always, it's me and Boyd here in the studio. Just stay locked in. Welcome back. It's been a great one here. The first semi-final, the analysis, we've spoken about the match between Farouk and Griezmann. Well, we bring you the second one between Adefola, last season's finalist at the Night of Champions, where he came back here to play again at episode 1 of season 2, and he got to the semi-final against the one they call Gifts a regular year at the tournament, but this time, just like the first semi-final, we had some entertaining thoughts about the game. Let's get into it, Boyd. The first one, just even to speak from the match between Farouk and Griezmann, we're speaking about tracking runs, and immediately from the 70 minutes we saw Fola showing exactly how to do that. But as the game went on, we speak about how you're able to manage certain opponents. We know Fola is more of an attacking player, while he's also good defending, but Gift is the one that's actually known for that defensive play style. But there was a way he was defending in the 14th minutes that you didn't like.
Yeah.
How can you speak on that?
Yeah, so he was defending in a very safe mode. The Trivela with Rashford, the goal, very beautiful goal, honestly. But I feel that if he had, he could have been stopped, because if he had switched to Araujo and pushed Fola out of his box, it would have been prevented. But probably the transition of the goal leading to that goal, he defended everything well. Just that last decision cost him the goal.
You were speaking about him being more aggressive. As we all know, there are moments and times for everything. We also saw in St. Forming where that standing tackle opened that space again for Adefola to exploit. In this game, we see how people, they are always tapping the box. You always want to be the advanced defending, because people have moved. Most people have moved away from the tactical defending style to the advanced defending. But knowing those moments to actually stretch out that leg is very important. And in this moment, we didn't see that from Give. But what are those moments where you are able to make those strong tackles, and how can you prevent it from not opening up your backline?
Yeah, so when your opponent makes a heavy touch, that's when you should know, let me press him, I can make my standing tackle. And at that point, you wouldn't get punished because he has already made the heavy touch. But when you see your opponent moving like the way Fola did at that point, you don't have to make any. At least you can jockey, because any slight turn, he can have another person waiting for the ball to pass and slot it into the goal, and that what happened. He made the standing tackle. If he had just followed the player there, he would have had enough chance and enough recovery to go back and defend the shot. But that standing tackle alone, even if it's just 1 second, you just think, it's not. But it's in the game. You know, that's what I'm talking when I talk about pro level. You need to know when to do. I'm not saying Gibbs is a fantastic player, because he even beat Buddy Jr. in the quarterfinals to get to where he got to. You understand? So there are times when you have to know the precise mechanic to use, and that what happened. He just messed it all up. At
this moment, those little mistakes are what mess with your head. Even though you can still want to put in your all, it changes the game in ways that you might not even know. And in the 29 minutes, we saw a very you could say you mentioned that it was predictable in terms of the run, that he could have tracked it better. But I feel from that standing tackle, it's messed with how he operated throughout the whole game. And runs that you see him tracking normally, we didn't see that. How will you speak on that chance and that goal?
I remember when I were commentating some matches and I said it, emotions set in. I'm 100% sure, because it was very predictable. I'm 100% sure he saw the run, and it happens to me too. I would see the run, but because I'm all over the place, I would rather want to press the ball. I would rather want to get the ball rather than tracking the run. And that what happened there. He kept on trying to get the ball. He was pressing, while Fola already made the run that he could see it. But he couldn't get the ball.
But also in that moment, when you are triggering these runs, as predictable as they might be, also the opponent might not still go to that place.
Exactly.
So it's really a thing of mind games, and it just shows how, just like coaches in football, players also play mind games when they are playing these competitions, and those are the things you need to take forward. Going on to the next point, we see, when just using an example of stadiums in real football, we see players or clubs, Chelsea for an instance, when we try to play Barcelona, then when we're playing against the Messi and rest, there's a way they make the field so that the passes are not easy to move. So the tiki-taka style of play is not easy. But you mentioned that when you're playing against opponents like this, you need to make the field, when you make the field big, is when you are able to defend properly, and you need to make it smaller when you're in the box. But generally, how does that apply when defending in the game?
Okay, so I've seen at least maybe few runs in just these 2 matches we have analyzed. And like I said, this game is transitions. When you're seeing your opponent, he's triggering runs, that is when you have to make the field big. Because if you're only looking at where the ball is, you will not see where the runs are. And that ball, in less than 1 second, it can get to that run. So you actually have to make the field bigger to see those runs. And when you're talking about making the field smaller, like you just mentioned, Baka, they love passing in those small,
those tight spaces.
So now, when there's a player isolated, okay, he can only make 1 pass. He cannot make 1 or 2 passes. That's when you can press, because at that point, he's forced to make that pass or to give away the ball. So you can press him there.
You mentioned about emotions setting in, and at 3-0, how can you manage those emotions better? Because as I said previously, it's a mental side to the game. But how do you manage your emotions at that point, going 3 goals down in the game, and you still hoping that maybe there's still a comeback in the game?
That's why most players here, they need coaches. You can be 3 goals down, you can be 4 goals down, and you're not even phased at all, because you feel if you can get 1, if you can get 2. Because many people say, oh, he came back. What I say is, you had your chance to score, and now I have my own chance to score. I don't believe in comeback story and the rest of that, because it's the first minute to the 90th minute. You understand?
Yeah. So Nigerians will say, if you reach your turn, no concede.
Exactly. So you had your own chances to score. Now I'm getting my own chances, and I have to score. You understand? So when you're 3 goals down, just keep calm. There are so many matches, a lot of pros here have gone 3 goals down, 4 goals down. They come back. And they're not coming back just because, they have the ability. They're coming back because they have the discipline. They have the mental fortitude to, okay, let me take it 1 step at a time. That's it.
That's really good. And in this game, it turned out, we saw a goal from Gifts in the end, but it was little too late for him, because we saw Fola replying with 2 more goals before the game ended 5-1. I think there was a mission from Fola and Farouk, because before the semi-final, Fola was leading Farouk with 4 goals for the highest goal scorer prize. So it's as if Farouk went into that one, he scored 7-1, and Adefola also went there and also scored 5-1 also. So at that point, the highest goal scorer prize would have been on their mind, because they were dominant in this semi-final. Yes, and that's a wrap-up for the semi-finals of the Johnny Mini Season 2 Episode 1. We're bringing you the grand final, where we said the best of the best have played. Farouk Manzo against Adefola. It was a great show. It was an entertaining one here from us. Just stay tuned. We'll be back with the analysis for the final. Welcome back as we dive into the final of the Johnny Mini Season 2 Episode 1, as we dive into how it went down between Adefola and Farouk Manzo. As the final of the tournament began, it was no longer a story of the climb, but a collision of 2 finalists forged by goals and dominance. As they entered the arena, not just as survivors, but the deadliest players in the tournament. I told them were the top scorers at the time. It was merely a final, but a show of a ruthless attack against an opponent who you could also say is also a ruthless opposition also. We'll be diving into the analysis of the match with myself and Boyd here, still in the studio. It's been great speaking with you, and we've learned a lot of things along the line, how these players competed at the Episode 1, and I'm sure other players who will be watching some of their matches, hoping to be at the Night of Champions, will be able to get some insights on it. But let's get into the game itself. It was one of 2 great names in the industry, we could say. We saw how dominant they were from beginning to end. Yeah, and coming into this final, a lot of people would have expected a back and forth between Adefola and Farouk Manzo. But what were your expectations when you saw that both of them were in the final?
To be honest,
I expected Farouk to win, but I didn't expect him to
win in that manner.
Exactly, to win in that manner. But that's just to tell you who Farouk Manzo is. He's someone that he just keeps on attacking. He doesn't give you any chance to think or to breathe, and that's also what I expect from Fola. But he's more of this kind of skillish attacker where he wants to beat you into doing something. But there are other attackers that they just want to force it in, and that is just Farouk.
That's great. I think one thing we even spoke about during commentary was the use of Rashford.
Yeah.
Yes, we were even speaking about it with Mitchell, but we saw along the tournament that other players were also using Rashford also, and that's because of the incisive play style that he also has. Yeah. But is that one thing? How important are play styles when you're actually picking a team, especially for the 95 rated mode? Yeah, coming to. I know you used Arsenal. Yeah, we saw some physical presence, and also the enforcer play style that also Gokres has. But how important are play styles when picking your teams?
This year, there's emphasis on play styles. Like you can have a player with maybe 90 shooting, 95 finishing, and the rest like that. But there are certain positions where you need this particular play style, like your striker and your cam. They must have incisive and tiki-taka for those one-time passes. And that is why Fola and Farouk picked Rashford, because he has that incisive for that kind of play style. But I don't use but I think I'll have
you have to now. It's just like the Claudofina card that everybody had to get at one point. Exactly. Once you see everybody speaking and he's going against you, you just have to join the wagon also. Let's talk about the first goal. And so it's the constant thing we've spoken about throughout this segment is triggering runs. Yeah. And I was blaming, when we were watching it, I was blaming Koundé for that. But that's when you also stated that if Koundé had the intercept play style, he would have been able to carry out. But that run was so. The pass itself, I feel the pass is the main beauty about the goal. But how did you see that goal before it came?
I saw it probably a second late, because I was watching it from Fola's perspective.
Yeah.
He triggered the run in a way that he triggered it from the other
wing, yes.
Yeah. So I won't have even seen it when I was playing, if I'm playing, because I'm looking at so many things all at once, and probably that will happen to Fola. He was looking at so many things. So he triggered it late. He made a pass to a player that probably had the incisive. That's why the pass went through. Probably if Koundé had intercept, he would have gotten the ball, and that's how he scored.
Alright, and what first goal in, it was great for Farouk Manzo to open the goal scoring in the 50 minutes for him. At least it gives you an edge in the final like that, where emotions are up and all. But you could say it's an unwritten rule in the game. You should not be losing the ball immediately after kickoff. Yes, and most times people might say, maybe superstitious, but in the end, we saw you almost always concede from that goal. But is this something you also experienced while playing?
If I lose the ball after kickoff, at least the first 3 seconds, I concede immediately. Immediately, except I just foul the player. But most of the time, at least 80% of the time, I concede from that.
And with that, we saw the second goal coming up, and the goal for Yamal also runs also. Yeah. Yamal, I'll say Rashford and Yamal, we could say were the star of the tournament throughout, because those were the two key players. Rafinha also coming up with the goals, because he was the one that was getting onto those passes also. But Yamal himself, the Yamal card itself, how would you say the importance, or how good is it in the game for the 95 rated mode?
I was arguing with Yemi and Michio and one of these days, and I said Neto is better than Yamal. He has finesse. Like I said, play styles matter.
So it depends on what you need for your own team.
Exactly. But they said Yamal is better, and the reason why Yamal is better because he has this build like Ronaldo,
to be able to sleek throughout.
So there are a few players that have that kind of build. Olise, Musiala, Yamal. This kind of build, like
I didn't like Olise Laxi actually.
Oh,
I didn't like
I love
Olise.
that.
I didn't like Olise Laxi because it was very easy. You say it was kind of predictable, but I feel maybe it's if you are used to those kind of wingers, yeah. Like now you said Neto right now, the finesse is there, and those off-ball runs are also very important for someone like Neto. Moving on to the next point in this final, it was one for the double triangle again, coming to show another star of the show in the first minute, and conceding 3 goals early in the game, the first half. I think during the interview we had with Fola, he also mentioned it that conceding those 3 goals so early affected how he played throughout the whole match. Yeah, and in a final like that, if the person is 3 goals behind in the game, how does the person recover back to say I want to come back in this game, or at least let me just grab something away from the game?
It depends on your opponent. Now you've considered 3 against Farouk, because I'm 100% sure Fola is not going into a match against Farouk in an attempt of going band for band. You know how attacking Farouk is. You would want to keep the ball away from him, but you've considered 3 early on. You would have to change.
Yeah, you have to change the whole game plan.
Exactly. So that was probably affected him, because he kept on trying to attack more than actually holding the ball. You're losing 3-0. You have to go all out.
At that point, I myself, while even commentating on the game with Baji Jr., we were amazed how the game had gone at that point, because we were expecting a different approach from both players. We even thought maybe it would a little bit conversative in how they play, but it was an open flower for Farouk on that day. And we speak about his attack a lot, but we don't also talk about how much he defends and the way he presses. In the 34th minute, we noticed that how he was able to use that manual press to cover every passing lane when Fola was trying to attack. But at that moment, what were you seeing from Farouk that was quite interesting for you?
Well, I'm winning 3-0. Most people would just want to cut passing lanes because that is the safest way to defend, but that's not Farouk. It's safe.
It's not normal.
It's safe doesn't mean it works all the time. Yeah. You have to add in manual pressing. You have to know when to push your opponent back, and that's what he did in 34 minutes. He covered all the passing options. Then Ben Fola thought he had an opening. He pushed Conde forward and he got the ball from him. So, in as much as Fola is one of the best players in the country, and you know how many players there are in Nigeria.
In Nigeria,
I'm going to say that you know the kind of mind games they were both playing on that stage. Farouk had his mind games, Fola had his own mind games, so it wasn't easy to play in that kind of match.
We understand the pressure it is, especially when you're on the main stage. All eyes on you. It's a final, and that can also even play into how you also approach the game. But speaking of going back to the play style, we saw another incisive pass from Rashford again to Yamal from Farouk. Fola was able to get one goal back, but it was as if Farouk Manzo knew that. I think we made a joke during the commentary that if Farouk wanted to pass Fola, he needs to at least win by maybe 5 goals, or one of them needs to win with 5 goals difference. And in the end, we saw Farouk actually trying to, maybe he heard us when we were saying that during the commentary. But that pass from Rashford to Yamal. Are there other players who are normal players without that play style able to make those kind of passes, or it might just come out of luck if you don't have that play style?
It will come out of luck. That's just how the game is built right now. Maybe earlier years, if you have a good pass rating here, maybe 85 upwards, you can make the pass. But if you don't have the incisive this year, you cannot make that pass, especially when you're under pressure like that. But since it's Rashford, he has the incisive play now. He can make it with ease, and that will happen there.
I agree. And at this point, his score was 6-1 at one point. Even at the 53rd minute, you could see, even showing how Fola was playing at that time, you could see that he had basically giving up at that point. Even the game ended 6-3. Well, again, emotions came into it. I know he's one to always come back. He doesn't back down from a challenge. But this is a final showing how dominant Farouk is. And you could say, not the skill level, gap in skill level, but he just came to know, considering that he had not even qualified for the Night of Champions last year. He just showed that he came here to say, I want to win it on my first try. There's no way the third time I'm going to come here, I'm not going to book my space. That was really good, but it's really good speaking with you. From the tournaments in general, was there something you noticed that was different from last year? In terms of the organization, or in terms of players who have even played last year, or people you played against along the line in the tournament, are there people that you say maybe they've improved from last year?
Yeah, that is the beauty and the magic of tournaments. And I'm very glad that players are putting in the time and effort to improve their skill sets, because I'm very sure if I was the one maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago, if I come into a tournament and someone beats me like 6, I don't think I want to come back. I don't think. But I love the mindset of the players here, because we mentioned some players in the commentary here where last season they didn't do so well, and this season they are getting to the quarterfinals, they're getting to the round of 16. So you know that yes, they are putting a lot of
effort. The grind eventually pay off.
And that's just mainly because of the tournament itself. Coming in to play against people that are better than you, you would want to get to that level because they don't have to hit. You understand? I want to know what this guy is doing that I'm not doing, and that's the mentality they always bring in every episode. So it's a really good one.
Yes. And you know, with every episode comes a new champion. If you can look behind me, you will see the Hall of Fame. We're looking for the next one. Who is going to be the ultimate champion? The journey has just started to the road of Night of Champions for season 2. Farouk Manzo booking his slots at the Night of Champions. 7 more episodes to come. We'll be bringing you more information. That just follow the page PSM_NG, and note, remember to put the notification dial on, because more content is coming. We were dating you guys on further competitions. And remember, it's been a wrap between myself and Boyd. It's good having you here, Boyd. Please, hopefully you're able to book your slot at the next episode. Yes. So take that risk and come on, compete here at the Johnny Minis. You might just beat your goats that you've been hyping all over, but you just trust in your skill. And remember, life is a game. Press play.